Welcome, guys, to the first ever episode of Almighty Lair. It's me, Almighty Fenrir, here to talk sports. On this channel, we'll talk football, basketball, maybe some boxing, some UFC, and definitely some WWE. But yeah, this is the first show. Here we're about to talk some football right now. Topics, the topics that I want to get through today is, Jalen Hurts' game versus the Cowboys. Of course, the Dak spit in the first game of the season. CD Lamb's drops. What I feel the ranking of Jalen Hurts truly is. And then also I seen a topic about how smart you have to be to play Madden versus how smart you have to be to play 2K. And I really found that kind of interesting. And a girl was saying that you have to be men who play um, Madden typically are a little bit more smarter than men who play 2K. So I heard that. I was like, ooh, let me talk about that and what my thoughts on it. But like I said, first topic is Jalen Hurts' game versus the Cowboys, and just the Cowboys' game in general, how it looked. Jalen Hurts went 19 for 23, 152 yards, no touchdowns, no inners. He also ran 14 times, 62 yards for two touchdowns. Saquon was 18 carries for 60 yards and one touchdown. Dotson um, had three catches for 59 yards, no touchdowns. And at the bottom, you have Devontae Smith, three catches, 16 yards, and then AJ Brown with one catch and 8 yards. I watched this game from beginning to end, even the little rain delay. Well, not the rain delay, but the weather delay. There was some lightning and thunder, and I believe it was. Um, just to comment on the game, Dak played a very good game. I'm not gonna even lie. Dak went 21 for 34, 188 yards, and CeeDee Lamb went for seven of 110. No touchdowns. Again, I think both quarterbacks played a very good game. Um, but this is why, and I'll touch on it later. But Dak played a good game. You can't even fault him, and I really don't care about the um the Cowboys like that. I feel like they're overhyped every year. But I can't lie, Dak played a very, very good game. And when I watched the game, I thought that the catches that they were saying that CD should have made were very, very hard contested catches. So I really didn't give him any flack until I watched the replays, and then I actually seen from a different angle how the catches actually looked. And maybe that last one, I'll give him a pass where he kind of dove for the ball and he dropped it, whatever, because that was a kind of hard catch. But the other three, coaches always say if the ball hits you in the hands, you have to catch it. You got to catch it. And him being one of them top players, he got to catch it. You know what I'm saying? There is no more Michael Parsons on your team, so you cannot lean on your defense to give you that ball back. You are on a defense that is going to play very, very optimistic. You know what I'm saying? So you might get an inner, you might get a sack. There is no guy that you can really look to. So like you gotta, when it comes to getting like them passes that you got to catch, you might not get another chance to catch that ball because they're the defensive opportunities to give you, you might just not get. So definitely CD has to clean that up, but I believe that he will. He's one of the top players in football. So, but yeah, those I like I said, out of them three or four, because I believe you dropped four balls. Them at least three of those you should have caught. You should have caught. But again, Dak played a very, very good game. The running game, I know for a fact they are reminiscing. Like that meme where it's like Wolverine, like what, like has that little picture, and he's like, wishing he had Jean Grey. Man, I know for a fact Dak and just Cowboy Nations wish they had Tyron Smith and that all pro center and the all pro guard that they used to have, and you had Ezekiel Elliott in the backfield and stuff. Like those were good times, right? And now you're sitting here and that running game was not it. And this is not with Jalen Carter. And we'll get to that. But this is without Jalen Carter. You know what I'm saying? Without Jalen Carter, you guys really didn't do anything. And then Miles Sanders, I completely forgot that he used to play for the Eagles, on the like Super Bowl run and stuff like that. And for him to kind of go against the team that he used to play for, usually in those rivalry type games, at least in your mind, you're like, man, I'm about to show out. And, for him to, have that costly fumble, what I'm saying? I know that probably really hurt him. Um, but that running game just it didn't feel like anything. You know what I'm saying? And then again, like no one thought this running game was gonna definitely gonna be a running back by committee. Like they're gonna have to give it to this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, and just see what worked. And whoever has the hot hand, they're just gonna get the most of the carries because they really don't have anybody in the backfield. At least I don't feel that's gonna be able to like do the bulk of the carrying. Um Offensive line played decent. They played deep, but again, this was without Jalen Carter, and they played pretty decent. But my hat goes off to Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, man, and again, I'm going to talk about this later, but Jalen Hurts, he has that it factor, and you could tell because it's like when everything he just makes the right play. When everything was just sewn up and he couldn't find nobody to throw the ball to, he just ran for and he did the smart thing, which was to slide. A lot of people want to show how tough they are, and I'm gonna run through his face mask, and then you injure your shoulder or hurt your hand or something like that, and now your team is like without you, and you just make dumb decisions because you're trying to prove to other people who don't matter that you're tough and stuff. I don't care that you show me that you're tough. You know what I'm saying? I need you to make the plays. I need you to stay in the game because out of all the other positions that's on the field, quarterback is the only one that like you don't sub out. So you have to be there. You know what I'm saying? And so, he made all the right runs. I don't believe any run that he made was like a designed run. None of them were designed runs. He just took off running when he needed to. And that's what kept them on the field and able to make the next play. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's very important, especially quarterbacks growing up, the young quarterbacks and stuff like that. Like sometimes you don't have to be a fifth. Contrary what the world wants you to believe, especially the sports world, like every play doesn't have to be a 50-yard bomb. You know what I'm saying? Just take what the defense gives you. You know what I'm saying? And then the same thing. It's like if it's not there, throw it away. Don't try to hold it too long and end up costing your team a sack or a fumble or you don't need to do that. It's not there. Look anywhere. Can you run? Not throw it away. You know what I'm saying? Let's go to the next play. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather us be in 2nd and 10 than 2nd and 16. I'd rather us be 2nd and 7 than 2nd and 15 or something like that. We don't need that. You know what I'm saying? Take what the defense gives you. And that's what he did. Every time the defense had everything sewn up, he just ran. And that was very smart. And I think that's the thing about Jalen Hurts that makes him very deadly is not only this he's smart, but he has the speed to get those yardage. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not a Peyton Manning or a Tom Brady where everything's just sewn up. You're just sitting there just hoping and waiting somebody gets open. Like he has that Patrick Mahomes type of thing where he's looking to pass the whole time. He's looking to pass. If it's not there, he'll take what you give him. You know what I'm saying? And he'll run out of bounds or he'll slide. And I just think that and this is game one. Everybody's not in mid-season form. So, it was very promising for to see him play the way he did. And that's the thing, like I said about Jalen Hurts, is that he's not gonna wow you on the stat sheets all the time. And guess what? This again, contrary to what the world wants you to think that you need to play the position like that. I don't care if you throw for 400 yards and 5 touchdowns. Did you win? Did you make the plays when it needed to be made? Did you keep our offense on the field and our defense off the field? Did you do that? Because I've seen so many players put up Hawaii and Texas Tech numbers and they lose. You know what I'm saying? They're doing it all in a losing effort, you know. Um, he didn't have any crazy stats that wowed you, but guess what? At the end of the day, he did what was necessary. And guess what? A dub by 4 points or a dub by 20 is still a dub. And that's what he led their team to. So again, I think Dak played very, very well, and I'm very, very anxious to see what he does. Saquon again, played a decent game. You gotta think about it. They're gonna load up on him. Dude's the reigning offensive player of the year, Madden cover athlete. You know, if he snuck up on people last year, um, he's definitely not gonna be able to do it this year. And people are gonna be gunning for him. You know what I'm saying? So he did what was necessary, keep the defense honest, you know, and I think he did well. Devontae Smith and AJ Brown, they played well. Again, you can't be such a diva at wide receiver where every game you want to put up 100 yards and stuff, because CD Lamb put up 110 yards and they lost. AJ Brown had one catch for 8 yards and they won. So again, you have to decide where your allegiance is to. Is it to winning or is it to padding your stats? Because you can go to Jacksonville and get 2,000 yards and you'll never see the playoffs. Or you can come over here, get 1 for 8 on this game and win. We know for a fact AJ Brown's going to get more than just one target and 8 yards. We know that. But at the end of the day, because he's such a great receiver and he's such a decoy, from what I was seeing, they were playing 2 men on him almost all the time. And when you have an extra man on him, that's one less man on the quarterback and on Saquon. So even if you're out there as a decoy, you're providing a lot of um, value for just being out there. And that's a testament to just how good AJ Brown is and just a testament to his greatness. You know what I'm saying? So again, this is game one. We already know he'll have games where he'll break out and he'll make up for that, 8 yard game that he just had. So again, you have to decide where your allegiance is to. Is it to winning or is it to padding your stats? The Dak spit. This is very controversial because when I first seen Carter spit, I was like, you gotta be stupid. Like, you have to understand you're considered to be a lot of people's second coming of Aaron Donald. And you need to be out there. Your team just won a Super Bowl. You got to try to get back, and everybody is gunning for you. And they need you out there. And you go out there and you spit, on the guy. Like, that's crazy. That's unbelievably crazy. So you really just set your team back, and I hope they show this at practice or their next meeting. Like, hey, by you doing this, we almost went 0-1. By you doing this and being selfish, you are lucky that the rest of us held it down in your absence, because we could have went 0-1 to a divisional opponent because you wanted to spit. You have to understand how important you are to this defense. You're literally the best player on their defense. You have to understand that you are the key to everything else around. When you're pass rushing, Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper, they get enters because the ball is leaving quickly out the quarterback's hand. Your other guys are getting sacks because they're doubling you. You're stopping the run, so they got to run the outside so other people can get tackles for a loss. You are the key. And when you go out there and you start thinking only about yourself and not understanding that people are trying to get you out of your game because you're that good, and it worked, but because you're that good, they're going to try to get you off your game. You have to understand that people are going to come at you mentally and physically. They're going to come at you both ways. So you have to understand, man, I'm that good. I can't allow that to happen. But if we're gonna have that energy for Carter, we must have that energy for Dak because Dak spat first, and you can sit there. Oh well, we're just I had to spit and I had to look, bro. You look bro dead in his face, spit towards him, looked up and grinned and smiled about it. Come on, bro. Come on. Come on. Like we can sit here and act like, oh no, yeah, he didn't spit on him, bro. You spit towards him. I don't care if you spit on me. If me and you are having a conflict and you spit in my direction, that's as good as spitting on me because I'm looking at your attempt. Because you failed at your attempt does not mean that you did it. I don't know what you're trying to do. I know what you were trying to do. You just didn't get it done. But I'm sure you were trying to do. And you were trying to, even if you weren't trying to spit on me, you knew what you were doing. And spitting in general is just nasty. It's just disrespectful and it's nasty. So you knew what you were doing. Now, again, Jalen Carter, he fell for it, hook and bait. But at the same time, if you feel that Jalen Carter should be suspended next game, which I really don't think so, since he literally didn't play a snap in that game. That's basically a suspension. I believe that got to face a game suspension. He just got to. He has to face because if you're going to set a precedent that we got to be more respectful on the field and with no disrespect and spitting on people and stuff like that, and just keeping the game as clean as we can. We cannot continue to overlook the quarterback position and just be like, oh yeah, we're protecting them from physical hits, but from the law itself. No. Keep everybody under the same rules. If Jalen Carter is out here spitting on people and he gets a suspension, fine. I don't think he should because he literally didn't play in this game. But if you want to give him a suspension, fine. Dak has to serve one too. Because you cannot continue to let quarterbacks think that they're above the law. And right now, Dak probably thinks he's above the law. Look at, I got him out of his character. I spit. If you want to, talk crap to me and stuff like that to get me out of my, character, fine. But once you start spitting and stuff like that, that's different. That's totally different. So I think Dak deserves a suspension as well. Yeah, again, the next topic was the CD Lamb drops. Again, I think CD Lamb, he could have did a lot better. Could have did a lot better. But I'm not gonna hold him. It's game one. And really nobody thought he was gonna beat the Eagles anyway. You had a chance. It's like and if you play like, NCAA and you play for like Duke or something like that, and you go against Alabama, you're like, ooh, I don't think I'm gonna win. But I'm gonna play anyway, see what happens. And then the game is like overtime and you be like, dang, and then you lose. Of course, you salty because you're like, man, I could have won this game. But at the end of the day, you really didn't think you were gonna win. But yeah, CD has to definitely clean up those. Jalen Hurts, and just I might hold on to this topic because I think this topic is going to ruffle some feathers. And that is I'll give you a little bit, but my next topic that I really want to address is I think Jalen Hurts is a top 2 quarterback. Top 2. Number 1 is Mahomes. I'll give it to him. Jalen Hurts is the second best quarterback in football. And a lot of you guys will sit there and say, oh, well, he has the number 1 O-line, the number 1 is and 2 receivers. You guys are talking out the side of your neck. And I'm going to save that because the next time I get on here, I'm going to talk just about that one. So, yeah. The last one I wanted to leave you guys with on this video was the Madden versus 2K. So again, this female was with her boyfriend and she was like, you know what? I have this, thought that, I believe that people who play Madden are a lot more smarter and they be knowing what they're doing because there's just so much complex that you got to think about. When you're playing that game, the offense, defense, D-line, corners, safeties, linebackers, offense, where to block, blah, blah, blah. Where in basketball, all you just got to do is just run and shoot and stuff like that. And I thought to myself, she ain't lying. She's not lying. Because when you play Madden, you play as the quarterback, the line, the running back, wide receivers, and tight end, just on offense. Then you play defense. You have to think about the D line, the linebackers, the corners, and the safeties. And it's just all you. And you have to vice versa go against their team. And on top of that, it's all guessing. Okay, where could they go? So this again, you have to have the foresight to see, okay, they came out in this formation. Where could they go? Where could they attack me? Because depending on your defense as well, you know what the holes are in your defense, whether it's a cover 3, 4, 6, man-to-man blitz. You know where the holes of your defense is at. So you're like, okay, how can I cover that? How can I make him think that I'm doing this and I'm really doing that? Like it's so much thinking involved when it comes to playing Madden. And again, that's only just the thought process of just positions. Now you got to think about doing this 100 yards. You know what I'm saying? Or at least 80 because you get the kickoff on a 20 or something. So at least 80 yards. So even if you figure it out, you got to do this all the way down the field. Not to mention, you really only got 3 plays to do it in because most of the time on fourth down, you're kicking the ball. So you really only got 3 chances to go 80 yards, and of course, if you get first downs and stuff like that, it resets. But I think there's a lot of foresight that you have to have when you play Madden. And I've played 2K. I'm really just a football main and Madden main, but I played 2K. It's very, very easier. And especially when you watch a lot of these players play, they just spam crossovers. And then you'll drive past this guy. Most likely the center will sag. If he doesn't, kick it out. 3, green bean, whatever like that. Or you just dunk on the guy. I just think that basketball is a lot more easier. There's not really a lot of thought processes in basketball. There really isn't. Again, I'm not diminishing the actual sport. But at the end of the day, if you're talking about Madden versus 2K, the mental gymnastics that you have to do playing Madden, and then again go 80 yards, and then again having a star player, whether that be on the defensive line or corner, it takes away from what you even do well. I don't care if you're the Lakers or going against the like let's say the Denver Nuggets. Okay, we know that the Denver Nuggets best player is Jokic, right? I'm gonna play with LeBron and you know and what's that? They got the similar names, whatever. But it's not Joker. I'm trying to figure out what the boy's name is. The point guard. Um, Lakers. Luka Doncic. I could not think of his name. I'm gonna just shoot threes and just avoid him completely. And the thing about it is that when you play offense and you switch to defense, you're still using the same guy. You're still using the same attributes. You know what I'm saying? Like his speed will never change. If his speed is a 90 on offense, his speed on defense is still a 90. Now his guard speed might be a little bit different, but bro, like it's easier to cheese in 2K than it is to cheese in Madden. Because even if you want to just keep blitzing me, I'm going to screen. I'm going to throw it to the running back. I'm gonna hit something quick. Like you can't cheese as well. Like in any sport, I'm pretty sure you can cheese, especially in video games. I'm pretty sure there's a cheese play for every sports game. I'm pretty sure. But it's harder to cheese in Madden because whatever you do in Madden to cheese, there is a way to break it. And in 2K, from what I've seen, if a guy's over here just doing that to death on you, you pretty much just gonna have to take it and hope he misses. And then if you got somebody that's just lethal at shooting threes, good luck. You know what I'm saying? I believe it's maybe harder as far as to stop a unstoppable cheese play. But I also think that that's not mental. Like, how do you stop? You just gotta hope that he misses. You know what I'm saying? But when you play Madden, there's a little. It's a literally mental gymnastics you have to play from 100 to 80 yards down the field, and you have to account for 11 players. And guess what? Like I said, in basketball, you can play. If LeBron's playing offense, he's playing defense. So you know your star player is still out there. If I play with who's a star player on offense? Um, let's say the Jets, right? You got Sauce Gardner at corner, right? He don't play receiver. He don't play running back. He don't play tight end. So even with that dominant player, he's only on offense. He's only on defense. He doesn't play offense. So the ability to now figure out who I'm going to use on offense, because I used to play 2K and my favorite person to play with was Rondo, because short story, my cousin used to always play. He would create players, but he would play very, very realistic, and that's what he kind of got me into playing realistic. Because I used to create dudes that was like 6'6" and 240 and run a 4.3 yard dash and stuff like that. But he would create people that was like 5'11", 6 foot, 180 pounds, 185 pounds, play point guard. I'm like, why you play like that? He like, no, just a little bit more realistic and stuff like that. And me, I used to like boost all his stats up to whatever, and he would put the passing up here, but the shooting, I'm like, why you play a little bit more realistic? So I was like, okay, and it makes it a little bit more funner. So I used to play with Rondo a lot, and I used to love to just dish it to, like, and I would player lock too. So when I look back at the stats, I'd be like, oh yeah, I had like 15 points, 10 assists, 7 rebounds, more realistic. And I was, and when you play like that, it's a lot more, like I said, realistic and stuff like that. And I loved playing that type of way. But what he is on offense to what Sauce Gunner is on defense, you don't get that on offense. You don't, you know what I'm saying? So um yeah, I think that it's just way more mental to play um Madden, in my opinion. But let me guys know in the comment sections what you guys think of my first channel, my first show. If there's any type of comments that you want, let me know in the comment section. I will debate you. And even I'll think about bringing some of you guys on the shows. Maybe you guys call in, maybe you guys join me and we have a real debate. And trust me, when it comes to this football, you don't want to debate me. You don't want to debate me. Maybe a little bit of basketball, but in football, you don't want to debate me because I know too much, and I'm not sugarcoating nothing. I'm not holding nothing back. So come with it because I'm definitely ready for it. But yeah, I'm trying to do shows every Wednesdays and Saturdays. So hope you guys tune in. I hope you guys enjoyed the show.